What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. It's what you guys have all been asking for. You see him right there, the prison guard.
What's
Hey,
up?
would
What's
you
up?
say it's gonna be like who?
Like the when Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior teamed up together, man. Era como WrestleMania 6, I think, bro.
That's right. That's
You're
right. All right. So let's get into it. And this is kind of crazy. I don't know. Have you been on another ex-cons channel yet?
I've been doing my rounds, man, Simon.
Okay, I see you doing big things.
Yeah,
Hey, the
yeah.
YouTube grind's kind of hard though, right?
It is, bro. It is, pero como like everything else, it's like you got to maneuver, you got to learn the game, the system.
And it's YouTube changes up from day to
Oh,
day. It seems like, man.
hey, bro,
But anyway, you know what? Go ahead, go ahead.
I've barely been on como like maybe 3 months, and yeah, it changes already. You can see it.
Yeah, you came in actually when things got harder for us. But I
Okay.
mean, it's all based on a lawsuit. You know how it is. You work for the CDC. You already know. You always got to work around them lawsuits, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about was this: because you were in the military prior to going and working with the CDC, I know guys that are in the military, Master Sergeant, it was Force Recon, um, and he actually caught a case, got a life sentence. Schwarzenegger wound up letting him out. I met him in San Diego after I paroled. And again, this guy was Force Recon. He was involved in a lot of special operations. And he told me, and I want to see how you feel about this. He told me it was his belief that prisoner convict PTSD is worse than military PTSD. And his reasoning was because when you're in the military, you go and you do your thing, but then you come back. Now you still have the memories, but you are around family and stuff. Whereas on the convict side, I'll tell you this: the day they put the handcuffs on me, I got busted 2 days after I killed this guy. Right, the day they put the handcuffs on me, in my mind, my life was over. I'm at war now, constant war, and it's never gonna end.
Simon.
So I was wondering, what do you feel about that? Do you think that's accurate or?
Well, yeah, I hear you, dude. No, la neta, I've done a lot of treatment, bro. Como since like
Mm-hmm.
2010, I want to say I've been hitting the PTSD treatment and
Mm,
therapy and everything. So like what I've learned, basically, it's trauma, it's trauma right off the bat. So
mm-hmm.
so if you were in a car accident, a victim of a sex offense, a prison,
Mm-hmm.
a war, a CS, like it's a mind, right? It's a brain. Pero something that also has to do with it is the prolonged exposure to that stressful environment. So
Absolutely.
I hear what you're saying. You guys did decades,
Mm-hmm.
decades. So me, I did 13 months in a combat zone. That's 13 months not letting
Mm-hmm.
up on daily, nightly attacks. So I would say the longer that you're exposed to the stressful environment, yeah, it's gonna be harder to rewire your brain because your
Mm-hmm.
brain got wired.
I can say for myself, I don't know if you've seen it, but people that have been on the channel for a while, they know. So my PTSD hits me usually when I'm asleep. Um, I like my lady at times gets afraid. But see what it is because I was used to for so many years reacting to a problem with violence to where now I know, like, if I get into it with somebody or they irritate me and I don't act out like that, I usually in the middle of the night will jump up out of bed like it's go time. And my lady's like, and I always try to play it off. I'll jump up out of bed and I know she woke up and I'll grab a bottle of water and she'll be like, "What's wrong, babe?" I said, "No, I just need some water. I'm gonna get a glass of water." In the morning, she's like, "There you go with that shit again." You know what I mean? So it hits us all different, but it doesn't leave us, but
Yeah,
anyways, thank you for your service. I forgot to say that too.
thank you.
Um, Now you having been with the department for as many years as you were, I mean, I would be in situations in the joint, man, and I said it in a video where Sacramento don't give a shit about the guys in green. They would put you guys in positions where on the blue side, it's like, okay, we know it's not them,
Mm,
but they're the only ones that can be touched.
right. Oh man.
So I know you have feelings about that.
Yeah, especially when you just said it right there. I'm actually glad that you guys were able to recognize that, man, because we
Mm-hmm.
don't, unless somebody's hollering at you guys, blue side, being that mouthpiece, you guys really ain't gonna
Mm-hmm.
know. And there's times, thousands of times, where I had to talk to some influential people and get at
Mm-hmm.
them correctly, because they thought it was us, but like, yeah, that's messed up, man, because we're doing their bidding. We're the pawns. We're the pawns in the
Mm-hmm.
chessboard. I don't like that. Ain't nobody want to be a pawn. Um,
Mm-hmm.
would I have more respect if they were down there on pushing those rules? Yeah, come on. If you want to do it, let's roll. Be at the front.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
they don't get down like that. And
I had a go ahead.
real quick, I learned at a young age the hard way. It's all business. So I know when you guys do your thing to us, it's all business.
Mm-hmm. Everything in there is just business, man. Like we're not gonna get into the specifics, but every group wants to make money in there.
Yeah.
When somebody gets whacked, there's the lockdowns and all you're not making money.
Right.
The visits ain't coming in, you're not making. So people that think that have never been to prison, that think it's always on, and it's like, nah, man, I've said before, prison is a microcosm of the world. I learned in there very quick. The only time there's gonna be violence is when there's a breakdown in communication. As long as groups, it doesn't matter if they're rival groups, as long as they can respect each other's word and communicate, man, everybody makes money. It's when you get dummies in there that don't know what they're doing, that want to be bullies and flex and all that. That's the same thing with out here. You know what
True.
I'm saying? I was going to talk about Biden there, but we're not going to do that. I don't want to make this go yellow.
I hear you. I hear you. And
But
that was a big thing of me coming out and speaking, is like the way that I was portraying the people, the perception of us, people in prison, right? Blue or green, is like, hey, these fools are always warring with each other. These fools hate each other. These fools are trying to, but it's not. Everybody's trying to get by.
The smart ones were, like I've
Yeah.
mentioned it before. I remember, so like in the 180s, a lot of times, man. So I'll say this: when I was in New Folsom, right, a lot of the guards there came from Old Folsom. So like you would get off on the yard, you get your incident pack, and you're talking about COs, not even sergeants, COs with 20 years in, because they came from Old Folsom, lieutenants with 35 years in. It was crazy, right? And I remember they would come in, and in the morning they would open up the supply closet, they would go in their office, turn the light off, and go to sleep. They know the convicts are going to run the building. They were making their good ass money, and we were going to take care of everything else, right?
Yes,
It's
yeah.
when I would say around, let me see, 2003, we had a different breed of COs coming in that were very gung ho. And some of us would pull over sergeants and be like, "Hey, man, people are gonna get hurt. Like, you need to pull these guys." And they would tell us straight out, like, "We don't know what's going on in the academy," but and it was like, okay, that's all you could do, is just give them a heads up. Like, people are gonna start getting hurt. But um, there was something else I was gonna. Oh, I was gonna say too, as far as the blue and green thing. I kind of mentioned this before, and I don't like to get into details, but I will say there was one occasion. Um, they had slammed the Southerners down, and they were searching my cell for whatever reason. The associate warden for that facility decided he wanted to walk on the tier and have a conversation with me, right? But it was more, he thought it was going to be a monologue, right? But he had the wrong guy. So I was cuffed up. I was in my boxers, no shirt, socks, and shower shoes. No, my tennis shoes, right? And I want to say his name, but I won't. But he tells me, yeah, if it was up to me, you guys, all the Southerners would be like this every day. You guys would be slammed down. You'd be in your boxers and your shoes, and you're handcuffed everywhere you go, this and that. And I'm listening to him, and I looked at him, and I said, you can do whatever you want. But I promise you, if you enact that, every time the doors open, one of your COs is going to the hospital. So that conversation ended. So did the monologue. It became a dialogue, and he understood what was going on. But that's the reality, because, like I said, a lot of us understood it's not the guys on the ground; it's the guys in Sacramento or the guys up front.
Yeah, dude. I could see that, man. It boils down to individuals, like you said, man. I don't know that AW's upbringing or his past or his history or experience, but like just getting at people correctly will go miles, man, long.
But I mean, especially in a prison that's been around as long as New Folsom, you know, it came out in the 80s, but still it has a history of being very violent, you know.
Yeah.
One question, and you don't have to answer this. We're gonna go a little off topic for a second.
Shoot it.
Is that really Wes Swanson's mansion?
Yeah, no, la neta, it is, man. It is.
It is.
It is. I say that because I was there long enough to, you know, see the daily operations, and yeah, that's all his. That's all his. It's not on loan.
Well, more power to him, because I didn't believe it.
No, it's his, man. And you know, yeah,
I think that's a poor investment. Who am I? But I would think, you know, hey, keep renting a little bit longer, stack that paper.
I think the reason for that mansion is because to do what he's doing, the business meetings there. You know what I mean? So that's the whole business move right there on his part.
Okay, there you guys go. That is his mansion. You guys can make fun of me now because everybody's like, you hate on Wes. I don't hate on Wes, man.
No, yeah.
I think
I see where you're coming from. Like, yeah, I get it, bro. I know who's real, who's not. I know what, you know what I mean? Like people who put 10s on their story, people that put more salsa on the burrito. You hear what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you know, and that's my thing. I have no problem with Wes's his message of trying to pump people up, right? But anyone, I mean, even on the green side knows, men that are men in there are very respectful. Men that raise their voice, it's gonna get shut down quick. So when you have somebody telling stories, especially saying, oh, I went to the South Siders, are like, what the fuck? No, you're not gonna cuss at nobody like that. You don't cuss outside of your people. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot, but you know, hey, I'm glad I always say this. I've said this from the start, and I'll say it forever, as long as I'm on YouTube, right? Anyone who comes from the streets, anyone who was killing, robbing, stabbing, shooting, and is now trying to put a message together of positivity and not hurting communities, I support them, man. You know, I have to support them. You know, we have to learn, and we can't, like, you know, I'm the fourth one in my family busted for murder. So I saw what happened before me, and I was one of those dummies that, just like, you know, prison's full of the guys that think they're smarter than the last guy. You know, so we can only put out a message and hope that people can soak it up. That's all we can do.
It's working. We're doing it. You're doing it. I'm doing it. The homie Gunner, like everybody, we're doing it in our own way, in our own ways.
And I think, like I said before, I think it's cool to get the green side, you know, and you're not, what I dig about your channel is you're not, I mean, you say the truth. You have a problem with Sacramento just like everyone else does, you know? Now I don't know if you have an answer here or if you want to answer, but I have big questions about why in California it takes over $100,000 to house an inmate when the state's right next door. It doesn't cost that much. And I'll say this, I'm just going to give an example of something that went on in Pelican Bay. So Pelican Bay, you know, it's supposedly the most expensive prison to house inmates because of the SHU and all that, extra security and all that. Okay, I don't get that. We're slammed in the SHU, right? But whenever there was going to be an audit, you know how they do the audits every now. Whenever they had an audit in Pelican Bay, everybody that was coming up on the bus would get booked for restitution they didn't owe. And it was a shell game. We knew what was happening. They're taking money and they're putting it where money's missing and supposed to be. That's, at least that's what we thought, because we would all 602 it and they would always tell us the same thing. It's going to take about 5 weeks for you to get your money back. Well, the audit's done by then. You know, so I did a video the other day and I said, I really wish that an outside entity, an independent entity would come in and audit California, audit the CDC and figure out where's that money going, because I truly feel that the education is what will change people. You know, throughout history, like when you look at certain parts of the world that are very illiterate, they're very violent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we're the United States. We should have a greater emphasis on educating people.
It's interesting to hear you say that, man, because you get to hear the green side now, and that is audits right off the bat, man, is a scam. It's a dog and pony show. In the military, we called it dog and pony show. You know, people start cleaning up. the higher ups start
Mhm.
giving us study guides and say, hey, this is the questions they're going to ask you. You got to say this. Now, the bad part of being in Donovan, and I badmouth Donovan because of the horrible experience I had there.
Mhm.
They are on constant audits. They got an audit every
Mm.
other 2 weeks. And you know the reason for that is
Mm.
it's San Diego. Everybody in the
Mm.
world wants to party, vacation. So they're getting that hotel paid for by
Mm.
the state. They're probably taking your money over there in the shoe
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
living it up right there in the, you know, the whatever
Oh,
Hampton Inn
yeah.
or whatever. And they never passed us on the audits. Of course not, because they can just keep coming back to San Diego and be at the beach, be
Yeah.
at the nightclub. That's what they do, man. It's a scam. It's a scam.
That's right there. This is the part to me that I like people to know, you know, because we pay so many damn taxes in California, and where's our money going? We should know. You know what I mean? I got a question too. So did you in Donovan or Centinela see where, you know, how after Governor Brown started trying to enact the programs and bringing in auto body and other
Yeah, yeah.
shops, did you happen to notice? I don't know because you're more on corrections. Did you happen to ever notice like the nepotism where family members were hired in certain spots where it's like they're not even qualified for it, but they had the hookup,
For what spots?
like vocation?
Like instructors?
Yes.
I never saw like family members get hooked up. Like I didn't know the vocational instructors, but they were there. Maybe
Okay,
they
yeah,
were
that's right. I
connected.
figured you might not.
But we
Yeah.
were like the green side would bring in their low riders to get painted, by you know by the inmates in the back,
Hmm.
the four wheelers. Yeah, that
I
was back
remember
then.
Pelican Bay, they had, yeah, in Pelican Bay, they would work on the warden's car and other
Yeah,
people's car.
right.
I told a story one time. This youngster got crazy with the homie that had been around, and he did one of those, you know, on junior high when they were like, "What's up? What's up?" And the homie knocked him out and was gonna kill him. And the other homie stepped in and were like, "No." So he threw him in the I think it was the warden's trunk of his car and told him, "Nobody better open that trunk for the rest of the day, or I'm killing him."
Yeah, yeah. Hey, these fools, they used to get high like on the car on the with the paint. You know, they would huff the
Yeah.
paint in the brown bag. I remember that, but I was young, new. I was brand new. They did away with those
Hmm.
programs.
Hmm. So I didn't see why you left, but I'm sure. Like, oh, here's a question I have that I almost forgot. We would notice new COs come in, right? And within a few years, you know, you see him later, you go to the shoe, you come back and you see him, and now he's got a shaved head, he's got sleeves now, he
Mhm,
talks a certain way now.
mhm.
Did you ever notice that?
Yeah, yeah, I did. I
And what
did.
was your feelings about that?
A lot of people asked me about this. A lot of people wanted me to make a video about this, but it's like I didn't like it. Like it rubbed me the wrong way. You know, I never confronted
Mm-hmm.
it. I never said, "Hey, homie, what's up with your bald head?" Or
Mm-hmm.
if people got ink, a lot of law enforcement and military have ink because it's kind of like a
Mm-hmm.
trendy thing to do. But I know what you're talking about because you will see something and you're looking and you're like, man. And it's not to say that those dudes were dirty, you know, bring corrupt or bringing in stuff in. It was
Mm-hmm.
like they were trying to impersonate that lifestyle.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, and they hated the guys that they were babysitting, but they wanted to be just like them.
It
Is
was
what it's
trying
what
too
it felt
hard.
like. Yeah, 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 yeah. Even the way they would tie, "Hey, dog," and all that. We're like, "Check this
So
fool out, eh?"
so it's funny that you say that because I've heard inmates say, "Man, quit talking to me like that. You're a CO. Start acting like one."
Yeah,
And I just
yeah.
kept quiet. I would overhear it. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, I always tripped out on that, man, and I wonder what other officers felt about that.
that's it, bro. Like I didn't like it. And the other it's not something that we sit around and talk, but I'm sure everybody's thinking the same thing. We don't tell them to knock it off because that's what the dude
Hmm.
wants to do.
That's the next man. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's his program.
yeah, yeah. Um, was there anything that you wanted to bring up on your own? Because I want everybody to go ahead. I have it here on the bottom to check out the Prison Guard channel. Where are you at right now in subscribers? You 10,000 already?
Como like 10,700.
There you go. Now you can start selling merch directly from
Yeah,
the
I don't know how all that works, but I'm still trying to navigate and
it,
learn.
it it takes a while. It took them like 8 months for them to enact that on mine, and
Oh,
I mean, Nobody buys my merch anyway, so it's all
I
good.
hear you. I'll cop a shirt or something, man. I'll get something off you.
All right. Yeah, but I mean, we're at 20 minutes. I think that's for me, that's good enough. But if there was anything else you wanted to mention, I want to make sure you get that opportunity.
Nah, everything's cool, man. I just wanted to thank you, Gunner, for initially when I came out on board. I know how it is being new in any situation, right?
Hmm.
People like us observe, and see
Hmm.
what's up, you know. And you
Hmm.
guys, I'm gonna say you guys took a chance on me, putting my name out there because you guys honestly didn't know what I was about or who I was about. But yeah,
Well,
thank
what it
you.
was, like I said, I felt like you didn't have an agenda. You know, you
Yeah,
came out here and you've talked bad about the things that need to be talked bad about. You've also been guarded, and you haven't. I mean, I'm sure you know that there's people that you met that are, I refer to them as legends, and it doesn't matter what faction, and you're not mentioning names, which is a great thing. So I think people respect that. They A lot of the people that watch these channels don't respect people dropping names.
yeah.
They
I
like
don't.
the
I don't.
stories. Yeah, and the least detail we can get, but still giving them a good story, they enjoy that.
I
So
I,
I
I
had no
do.
problem supporting you.
Thank you. I do drop names on administrators, managers up in Sacramento, but I feel, and even
Hmm.
that makes me feel kind of awkward, out of place. But
Hmm.
I feel like, hey, the sheets have been pulled. Like the untouchables are no
Yeah.
longer, they're no longer untouchable.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you being here, and you already know, you ever want to stop by again, you're more than welcome. You're welcome on Gunner's channel, and
Hell yeah,
anything we can do to help you,
hell
you
yeah.
already know. Just get at us.
Thank you, Dubs. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, no problem. All right, you guys. Everybody, be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.